Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, you know what to do. Leave comments in the bottom if you like it or not, or if you have questions. I'm going to go over a uranium market update. I saw a lot of companies up pretty big today, and they had a lot of momentum heading into the close, which is exceptionally good. So let's go over it. Let's look to see, the chart patterns and see what we've got with this big move higher. So it's a uranium market update here. We've got big moves higher. What do the charts look like? Are there any chart pattern breaks? Are we going to continue to move higher? And let's look into it. And obviously I don't have a crystal ball, so these are just my opinion. So Uranium Participation Corp, if you notice, we broke this big downtrend. And we were tracking that. I'm like, ooh, this is where I like to buy, is on the tops of these channels. Looks like we broke out again out of this little pattern here, this big kind of cup or U pattern. Boom, way higher, 4.5. And I don't know if this is what it ended at. I was doing it right at the end of the day. But it looked like they were all finishing stronger, which means it could continue higher next week, which is good. This one was URA. Massive move higher here. You can see the chart pattern. It broke this downtrend, formed another pattern, moved higher, a little pullback. This is what you want to see. These are very strong movements where you have the large up days and the small down days like this. That means buyers are stepping in and controlling the market. Over here with all these down days and the smaller up days, it wasn't nearly as strong, but this is strong coming here. Volume is stepping in here. It's looking pretty good, and we broke out of this little high here. So if it finished up here, it finished pretty strong, and it could potentially continue, possibly, and maybe it pulls back. I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but usually when it finishes strong, it could potentially continue to move higher. And maybe it moves higher and then does like a wick at the top. That just means it's going to pull back for a little bit, but it finished strong. It's probably going to continue. CCJ broke its downtrend here, and it broke with some pretty big force there. That was a big punch there. It's a boom, punch right through that downtrend there. So that's looking pretty good. Denison Mines, you can see it broke through this downtrend here, and it's heading higher, so that looks pretty good. Here's Fission Uranium. Again, this thing, it's got a little bit of resistance in here, but look at the volume. There's a lot of people stepping in here and buying this stuff now. I think, this looks like a really good setup here to be buying even down here. Look at the buyers step in. So it's looking really good for Fission Uranium Corp. Here's NextGen, breaking out of its gigantic pattern here. Broke right out, massive power here. It's looking exceptionally good, and if you look down here, you've got lots of volume. A lot of people are stepping in and buying these. I would be holding on if you own these. Here's Deep Yellow, not as big of an update for Deep Yellow, but again, we've got nice, strong moves higher here. So it looks really good in an uptrend. Maybe it pulls back on the short term a little bit, because it is quite a bit extended over the 50-day. Maybe not. We'll see. Here's Encore Energy. Broke out of this pattern here and then started moving way higher. Kind of went into this consolidation pattern, nice little triangle pattern. We broke to the upside. We were just on top of that rail. It's probably going to go and continue higher, moving higher at a pretty good pace. So it looks pretty good to me. Global Atomic, man, that thing was up 12.6. It probably ended up higher. But this is what the chart pattern looks like. We're in this, we'll call it channel here. We can see it broke down, broke this little pattern here, popped up. Now it's just fighting higher. And if we break out of this top side here, I think we could potentially move quite a bit higher. So it's one to watch. GoviX Uranium. Looks like we're putting in a reverse head and shoulders. We got a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. Here's the neckline. If we break this neckline, I think this thing could move. But it's still putting in work. It's looking pretty good. And we'll see if this thing moves. I don't know what this closed at, but maybe it popped higher. We'll see. But this is a reverse head and shoulders for sure. This one's UU Energy Fuels. It broke out of its chart pattern here. Whenever you break out of these chart patterns, they usually run. And that's what it's doing. It's running. And what I call this is it pops up. It kind of pulls back a little bit like this. And then it goes, I call it cheetah speed. It freaking just goes higher at very high rates of speed. Is this a top? I have no idea, but it looks like it's going to continue to go higher. It looked like it closed pretty strong. So I would say it's probably going to go higher. The volume's stepping in and buying it here. So it's looking pretty good, very strong. Uranium Energy Corp broke out of its up pattern here on the upside, so it's probably going to move higher too. URG, still putting in a little bit of work here. We've got a nice, maybe this is like a cup and a handle, and now it's going higher. It broke out, and this is a very signature move: up, pull back, up, little pullback, and then up. And it could pop, once it pops above this, it could be in a new uptrend. One to watch. So overall, the uranium market's looking exceptionally good. Lots of chart patterns have broken to the upside. That means path of least resistance is going higher. Some of these are still in their chart patterns. More than likely, they're just lagging the leaders. So what I like to do is I like to buy some of the laggers at this particular time. Looks like URG is lagging. Looks like FCUUF is lagging. There's GoviX is lagging. And the other ones I would say are leaders, and they're starting to pop out of their patterns. So next week, these are all ones to watch. They're probably, I'd like to see them continue to go higher. At some point, since these moves are so large, you're probably going to see a pullback. So they'll move up a lot, and then they'll pull back. And then you should see the patterns where the pullbacks are smaller than the up moves. That's a signature trait of an uptrend. So it's big moves higher, big candlestick bodies higher, and then smaller down days as it pulls back. And then it's a pattern where it pulls up big and then comes back a little bit, pulls up big, comes back a little bit, and you'll just see that pattern repeated over and over. The buyers control the market, and that's what that pattern looks like. If you enjoy this content, click the thumbs up button and subscribe. Appreciate you listening. This is Finding Value.